Well, here's a few news articles I thought were interesting. This one is pretty amazing. I mentioned in the CNET 160 class, which is a lot like this one, the European Safe Harbor Law. There is a legal problem. Europeans have strong privacy expectations by law, and Americans have very low privacy expectations by law, and foreigners who send data to America have no privacy at all. No protection against the government snooping on them, and therefore, on the face of it, it would be illegal for any European company to use American services like Yahoo, Facebook, Google, and yet, of course, they want to because they do not have any native European services that offer all this functionality at such a low cost. So there have been a series of laws passed to create a sort of legal fiction that pretends that those companies are going to provide some privacy, which they absolutely cannot. And so anyway, finally, there has been an alteration. The regulations in Europe have finally said you cannot be sending European data to America, where it obviously will not be handled in a way consistent with European laws. So I think what they want is they want all the American companies to set up servers in Europe so the European data doesn't come to America or something like that. But anyway, Meta has now said they're just going to block Europe and provide no more Facebook or Instagram to Europe as a result of this. And that's a fairly drastic move, and we're going to see where it goes. But this has been a problem for, I think, at least 10 years. All these American services provide wonderful service for free or cheap. Europe does not have competing services worth much, and yet Europeans sending data over here are just throwing it to the wolves. So anyway, we'll see what comes of this. Tesla has had a huge set of problems, from them just slamming on the brakes when you're driving down the highway for a panic stop for no reason, to plowing into stopped emergency vehicles, to rolling through stop signs without stopping. And now, again in Europe, they decided to deal with the chip shortage by just removing the backup steering component and say, oh, you don't need that. Who needs backups anyway? And they didn't tell the customers, which seems like something they might want to know. So we're going to see what happens. It looks to me like Tesla is in for a lot of recalls and a lot of punishment. Saying it's possible that Zuck may use another $250 billion. Well, yeah, that's one possibility. Yeah. Zuck already lost a pile of money, and I guess he'd lose another pile of money for cutting Europe off. Yes, Tesla has already cheapened their product in many ways. The original Tesla had 3 different sensors, and now it has only one kind of sensor, and that seems to happen at the same time as all these problems where it just plows into things it shouldn't plow into. So anyway, I'm increasingly grateful for my 25-year-old dumb Toyota that doesn't have any of these advanced features, you know. It works, and it doesn't do any of this crazy stuff to me. So the Metaverse is apparently out there. I didn't even know it was available yet, but apparently there's something called Horizon Worlds, which is like a beta version of the Metaverse. You wear some kind of Oculus-like thing on your head and you wander through this 3D world, and it's only for adults, but lots of kids are there. They borrow their parents' thing and play around, and now people go there, they meet little kids all the time. They tell you they're little kids, even though that violates the terms of service. And this is something that concerns people because any online service that attracts kids, especially if it's new and unsupervised, will then attract predators that want to sexually exploit and kidnap and do horrible things to the kids. And so people are concerned about that. The IRS was going to use a third-party service, not the government, called, I think, ID.me, something like that, where the only way you could submit your tax return online was to send a video of you, your face, to them so they could use facial recognition at this third-party company. They were going to require it of everybody, and everybody screamed because facial recognition has got a terrible reputation. All the major companies in the last couple of years have canceled their facial recognition programs, like Microsoft and I think also Google, because it turned out that facial recognition sounded great, but when they tried to use it, it didn't work at all. It recognized like 10 Congress people as wanted felons. It can't tell black people apart. It's just appalling. It's not accurate enough. It's not really ready for prime time. And IRS has now abandoned that plan after everybody screamed and said, you got to be nuts sending facial recognition data to some third-party company just to do a legal government thing like filing your taxes. That doesn't make any bloody sense at all. So anyway, that seems to have been canceled. This is amazing. If you get cancer and chemotherapy fails, which means the cancer is spread through your body and the attempt to kill it with poisons is not working, they developed a brand new technique where they take some of your immune cells out and modify them so they'll attack the cancer cells and then inject them back into you. And now you have customized immune cells. And the first couple of people they tried this on went into remission. I think the first guy went into remission for like 10 years. So it really is like a miracle cure. And now they're doing it. This is a cell therapy program. They're having patients now doing it. They say 40% of patients may have long-term remission from this, and when almost all of them would have died. So this is a very exciting new cancer treatment, and it's moved past, the experimental stage or to a later stage where they're trying it on more people. So I'm glad to hear that. All right. So I think that's enough of this stuff, and let me make a separate recording for the official class stuff.